A flood of uncertainty after the attacks of September 2001 added urgency to Hazar Imam's deep hope for real understanding in the West about the Muslim world.
That the acts of September the 11th and all that is behind them are repugnant to the very spirit of Islam and to the beliefs and yearnings of the vast majority of Muslims around the world is beyond question. In the words of the Quran, it is as if the entirety of humankind had suffered a death with every life that was so brutally ended.
9/11 was widely called part of a clash of civilizations, but Hazar Imam spoke of a clash of ignorance. To meet the crisis of ignorance, Hazar Imam has redoubled his efforts, encouraging mutual understanding and cooperation amongst faiths.
Very nice to see you.
At a Syrian mulaqat, addressing tens of thousands from various traditions of Islam and other faiths, Hazar Imam was emphatic.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Any differences must be resolved through tolerance, through understanding, through compassion, through dialogue, through forgiveness, through generosity, all of which represent the ethics of Islam.
To instill these values in tomorrow's leaders, Hazar Imam has launched the Aga Khan Academies.
Say good morning, His Highness.
Good morning, His Highness.
Please go on, I'm going to join the class.
18 boarding schools across Africa, South and Central Asia, and the Middle East. The first opened in Mombasa, Kenya in 2003. It takes promising boys and girls from all religious, cultural, and economic backgrounds.
The scholarship does make a huge difference, especially since I know that the award for next year depends on how I perform academically in class as well as in terms of physical activity and creativity. I know that I have to do this in order for me to get that scholarship. I have to show them that they gave me the scholarship for a reason, that I deserve it and I truly deserve it.
are employed for the service of people and in the true expression of humanity.
In helping us to bring hope and opportunity in regions of the world that have known too much despair.
By providing a beautiful and inspiring window into the Muslim world.
Know that when you speak, Canada and the world will listen.
In partnership with the Canadian government, the Imamate founded the Global Centre for Pluralism in Ottawa.
The Centre recognizes that we cannot make the world safe for democracy unless we also make the world safe for diversity.
Its mandate? Creating and sharing knowledge and know-how about pluralist societies. Accepting an award for promoting tolerance, Hazar Imam emphasized hope.
Instead of shouting at one another, we must listen to one another and learn from one another. If our animosities are born out of fear, then confident generosity is born out of hope. Even in the poorest and most isolated communities, we have found that decades, if not centuries, of angry conflict can be turned around by giving people reasons to work together toward a better future. In other words, by giving them reasons to hope. And when hope takes root, then a new level of tolerance is possible, though it may have been unknown for years and years and years.
At the same time, Hazar Imam has left no doubt where he stands on extremism and its denial of the Islamic message of inclusiveness.
This message is still potent in the Muslim world today, although it is sometimes clouded, distorted, and deformed by political interests and by struggles for power over the minds and hearts of people. There are attempts at transforming what are meant to be fluid, progressive, open-ended, intellectually informed, and spiritually inspired traditions of thought into hardened, monolithic, absolutist, and obscurantist positions.
Hazar Imam has striven to show how new knowledge can preserve values and allow progress. In Mali, his call to revitalize the unique traditions embodied in the mosques at Timbuktu, Mopti, and Djenné echoed a more urgent challenge.
Aujourd'hui, nous sommes face à une situation délicate dans laquelle tous les musulmans de paix doivent s'unir pour présenter au monde le visage d'un islam de paix, d'unité, d'intelligence et de conviction.
In Cairo, a living declaration that Islam, not only the tombs of the pharaohs, illuminates Egypt's glorious history.
This process has been particularly satisfying for me from a very personal perspective. In our excavations and historical investigations, I constantly have been reminded that we were touching the very foundations of my ancestors, the Fatimids, and the pluralistic history and intellectual profile of this city and this country to which they contributed so profoundly. I am very humbled by the opportunity to return to Cairo, founded over 1,000 years ago by the Fatimid Caliph Al-Mu'iz, to build on that history. 35 generations later, through the work done here by my institutions, it is my prayer that this park will be a continuing contribution to the people of this great city.
Helping to fill the gap, Al-Azhar Park, once a dump, now a testament, helping all Muslims to value the diversity of their heritage. Despite the dangers, thousands from the Jamaat of Afghan Badakhshan gathered to hear the Imam address them from across the river Panj in Tajikistan.
I have observed with great pain and sadness Muslims fighting against Muslims in Afghanistan. We are not allowed to live in hate. Absolutely, we must respect the sanctity of life. It is the Holy Quran itself which says, "And whoso saves a life, it is as if he had saved the entirety of mankind." These are the ethical premises on which we need to build to bring peace to Afghanistan, to eliminate hate and division, and thereafter rebuild the country for the benefit of all Afghans.
With Afghanistan still in turmoil, Hazar Imam set about building bridges, reconnecting Afghanistan. And soon, the Imamate was running hundreds of projects throughout the country.
I cannot believe that replacing a collapsed society and environment with mediocrity is the right way for a destroyed country to rebuild for its future. The other way is to see reconstruction as an opportunity to draw upon the world's state-of-the-art technologies and standards, using them to jumpstart the economy and to help bring it to a new and higher plane.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad.
But the heritage that the Imam has sought to protect for the Jamaat for 50 years is a deeper and more essential one.
My beloved spiritual children, remain strong on Sirat al-Mustaqim. Remain regular in the practice of your faith. Remain united as one large family. Forsake bad habits. Educate yourselves throughout your lives. Remember that it is only the soul which is eternal in every human being. And therefore be regular in the practice of your faith. When you are in difficulty, in a worldly way, for time or work, take your tasbih. Take your tasbih. Call Ya Allah, Ya Muhammad, Ya Ali. Call the tasbih, because that in its own way is a prayer at that time.
Since the 11th of July 1957, all my aims and ambitions have been devoted to help and guide my spiritual children in spiritual and worldly matters. The happiness which I have gained from my work, the encouragement to carry more and more responsibility and undertake more and more projects, the continuous search for truth in all matters, all this has been due to you.